You know that show Zoom on PBS?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, like the P.O. Box song was so sick.
It was like it was in Boston, right?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
God, Zoom was that was a life changer.
yeah.
Kids
Back
these
then and now.
days, does Zoom exist still?
Yeah, we're on it right now.
Oh my God.
Welcome to The Details. This is a show where an artist discusses 5 special details from a recent release with me, Molly Mary O'Brien. Here's Lynden Rook talking about her album, Manicpixiedreamstar.
I want to talk about genre blending. Do you feel like you identify this as like a pop record?
I'm a pop star, so it's like I have to, like keep the label up, it's like it's pop music through and through, but I love top 40 stuff a lot. And I also really like weird, like harsh noise stuff. And it's like, I get similar emotions from like the best parts of both of those worlds, where it's like the test tube like mentality of like a top 40 song that's like, everything is like so concise and well produced and like so clean, and it's perfect music, it's designed to be like perfect. At the end of the day, like there's a reason why people on the Billboard are making millions off of like a track, or like why I'm hearing it in a grocery store. You can distill a very complicated feeling into one phrase, and I feel like I did that on Big Ben by just saying like, I spend most of my time trying to get you out of my head,
I spend most of my time trying to get you out my head. Trying to get you out my.
And then there's like the other side of like DIY world, where it's like you can do anything you want, you can be anything you want, like there's no rules. The things that touch my heart a lot when it comes to music have come from both of those worlds. And so whenever there's like a genre, there's like a clique, there's like a scene, I feel like that's when things kind of start to get boring. I want to like make my music what I love about everything.
The song Iconic, I feel like it changes genres like several times throughout. Like it feels a little pop punk at some points, like it feels a little hip hop at other points. What, like when you are writing a song, do you know already like that is kind of the vibe, or are you kind of going along intuitively and like changing things as it develops?
I feel like some of my best songs start with like a challenge to myself. I wanted to like make something that was like very J-Rock inspired, because I love J-Rock a lot, like bands like Trico. So I wanted to make a J-Rock song, but in my head I'm thinking like, what if I put 808s instead of bass? And then like, what if I had, like there's like that sample that's just like that classic rap, like, hey.
I love that.
That's like such a like quintessential element of rap music that it's like, what if I just threw it in there? There's like a through line between all those genres that's like just really cool things that go hard. So it's like, why not mix all of them, And then I was also really inspired by 90s like weird rock bands that were starting to mix in like synths with their music, like very like Portland sounding. And there's that break where it just goes into like a little ballad kind of thing out of nowhere. I love tempo changes in music that are like that dramatic, and I love like moments where it's like the lighter swinging back and forth kind of thing. It turns from like wanting to do the style justice into just making it a Lynden song.
Did you record everything yourself and like produce everything yourself?
Yeah, I did everything. I love like working within limitation instead of working with like excess. Whenever I'm like really constrained, it like forces me to think outside of the box. So like I haven't owned an amp, and like I have like a really like crazy like 4x12 Mesa, like super like brutal death metal cab, but I don't have like a real like sad girl indie amp or anything. I just run everything DI. So like that's already unforgivable. That's strike one. I don't even have bass. I guess that's part of the charm, is like a lot of times I use 808s instead of tracked bass, because I really like the intermingling of like genre stuff on my music. So that's strike two. And then all the vocals, I just do it in my room, like no soundproofing or anything. As long as the end product sounds cool to me and it hits hard, like that's all that counts to me. So yeah, I do everything just like in my room, just off the laptop, like sitting like this, like laying down, just like,
On the song Girl, it's like soft and then it gets very like kind of intense and like crunchy. What is that like? What are you, I'm not a musician, what are you doing in the production if you're kind of like trying to push it at the end the way you did?
I went to audio engineering school for like a year and a half. At the time, I was like really influenced by like Earl Sweatshirt, and I was just so inspired by like why is everything so like crunchy and like distorted and like weird sounding? And I kept doing that in my beats. And I would show like classmates, or I would show like the instructors that I was cool with, and they'd be like, oh, this is like beat is really cool, but like why is it like clipping and distorting so much? And I was like, because it sounds cool. Like, I don't know, it goes harder. So I just clip the beat. Like,
Yeah.
Sometimes, like, I mean, that song is really dynamic. So there's moments where it's just acoustic and that's it. I wanted it to like breathe is like billowing, and then it comes back down, and then it breathes again, and then it comes back down.
Faith bear fruit on its own. Does faith bear fruit on its own? Does faith bear fruit on its own?
What better way to like represent like what I'm trying to do emotionally, which is like get people to feel something, than like pushing like the actual physical limits of like the sound space, you know. I will say my personal favorite off the record that I feel like people sleep on is 23. At the end of the record. I wrote it before, it was the night before going to a show to go see Foxing and Now Now on a tour that they did together. I felt so bad. Like, I was like, I'm not going to make it past 23. But I wrote it and I was like, okay, it's going to be okay. The day was great. It was chill. Had a great time. Now I'm 25, still kicking it. So, you know, I guess like that song is like, if you don't think you're going to make it past whatever it is, like, you will.
Yeah.
You can.
23 is in 3/4 time, right? Or at least for most of it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that gave it the like, I was a big like Death Cab for Cutie girl growing up, and it gave me that like kind of epic emo thing.
I like to mess around with time a little bit on Lynden stuff. I came up like learning from like jazz drummers and like gospel drummers and stuff like that. So like, my head is like in a different dimension rhythmically, and then I like pull it all back. Like I am my own artist telling the session drummer in my brain, like, no, just play the pocket, like don't do anything crazy. When I was thinking about like how do I want the song to evolve, like something about the drum groove, like especially because I'm like sampling my voice, hitting like the threes over and over again.
I'd love to live past 23.
Like something about it felt very like meditative, like it put me in like a trance-like state. So there's this like constant bounce, but at the same time, like the 6/8 makes it very like waltzy and floaty and pretty. And also there's the cheeky thing of like sampling me saying 3 and it's in 3.
Nice little
It was definitely
pun.
something I thought of afterwards. I was like, that was kind of bars of me. That was pretty bar.